Hi there, I'm Jessica Alexander, one of the teachers at the University of Washington Botanical Gardens here at the Arboretum. I use she, her pronouns, as in she grows berries in her garden. Today I'm going to be talking with you about some of the wonderful books from the Elizabeth C. Miller Library about floating and sinking and the amazing ways in which water in its endless journeying connects all life. We'll be doing this at one of the prettiest watery places in the Arboretum. That's the Woodland Pond here off of Azalea Way. People use water in a remarkable way for harvest in time for cranberries. Cranberries that will be made into juice or sauce or dried fruit rather than eaten fresh. The farmers wet harvest those, and that's done by flooding the sandy wetland soil in which they grow with about 8 to 10 inches of water. A tool is drawn through the vines to separate the berries from the plant, and then the berries bob to the top. Isn't it clever? You can observe what floats and sinks and perhaps think of another way to use water in ways that are helpful. By looking at this pond here, you can see that at least some leaves float. These beautiful red ones are Japanese maple leaves. They're in the Acer family. Let's take a closer look at how this works with berries. These are hawthorn berries from my garden, similar to cranberries because they are red, though not nearly so tasty for humans. Here they are on the bottom of the jar, and it's actually kind of difficult for me to reach my hand in there and get them. But look what happens when I pour in the water. They bob a little bit, and then at least most of them float. And I can then pretty easily skim them off with a spoon. Whether something sinks or floats is called buoyancy. If something floats, it's buoyant. So, what do you think about this stick? Let's set it in the water and see. It is buoyant. It floats. Now, how about this rock? I'm going to give it a gentle underhanded toss, and I'm also going to check before I toss it to make sure that I'm not going to hit a heron or a duck or a turtle or any other animals. Here goes. It does not float. Now let's take a look at this acorn. It's a little bit like a stick, grew on a tree, but it's also a little bit like a rock. Let's see what it does. Ooh. Not buoyant. It sinks. Now take a look at this oak leaf. It floats. It is buoyant, and it's actually reminding me a little bit of a boat. Let's see if it's possible to delicately set some other leaves and maybe even some pebbles so that they can float like passengers on a boat. Look at that floating rock. And this is something that you can do at home, in a bathtub or a puddle. Though we want you to remember, with whatever you put into the water, that it's important to care for it, since it matters so much to all of life. Thank you for joining me here today. I'll hope to see you around the Arboretum. Goodbye and take care.